Adwaita, Anchit, so good having you here on the show with us today. This is an exclusive conversation really talking about all the trends that you want to call out for our entrepreneurs, about what we should be keeping our eye out on as far as the future is concerned. But I also want to kickstart today's interview by first and foremost talking about consumer engagement and that big trend that you really see in the mid to short term, and break that up into a couple of sub trends. First and foremost, the content really which is available to someone who logs into your app. In fact, your app is one of the few ones that I do have on my phone, and the videos that you put out of influencers, all of it just seems very natural, very engaging, very organic. Now, this seems to be becoming really a mainstay as far as a lot of people engaging with audiences are concerned, and that's definitely a trend that you kicked off when it comes to the beauty market here in the country. So I want you to really talk about why this is so crucial and why you think that this is an important trend.
Absolutely. Thank you. So, I think for Nykaa, both on the beauty and fashion side, content is insanely important because we really are trying to make the consumption of these categories very rooted in education and inspiration. And for that, content is key. I think what Anchit and I are both struck by is just how dynamic the content landscape is. And even if we look back over the 9 years that we've been building Nykaa, what really constituted good content is changing dramatically. So if you started with the blog, then you moved on to social media, the rise of Instagram, we try to crack YouTube, then we went into sort of static influencer content, which was quite exciting. But really, when you're looking at it today, you're seeing a lot of different trends. You're seeing the emergence of video as a form of content. That's been around, but I think it's being used more dynamically today. You're seeing the rise of live content, shoppable video content. I think the way you're working with influencers is looking a bit different from just a static promotion to doing more collaborations, more joint lines. That's also kind of dynamically changing. So I think it's really important for all new age brands to be extremely dynamic when it comes to both the format of the content they're using and then also how they're dispersing it. And I think dispersion is also quite critical. Just where it meets the consumer. You can't just assume the app works. You can't just assume the existing social media channels work. I think there's a lot of innovation happening in even where content is being consumed.
A follow-up question to that really is talking about premiumization, not just of the products, but also of the content, and why that is going to be crucial, and that's a trend which is here to stay.
I think it's a good question, Sunanda, and I'll answer it in two parts. Firstly, Nykaa prides itself on being a curated platform. And I think one thing that's happening in e-commerce is because of the fact that you can have an endless number of SKUs and brands on a platform, is becoming very cluttered. So Nykaa is we think consumer first. And as consumers ourselves, we would like a platform that is kind of helping us, assisting us along the way in the buying journey. So curation is an incredibly important part of all of that. And as part of curation, we've also understood that premium beauty and premium fashion and what one might call luxury is a segment that has been slightly under-catered to in the past, especially online. And India, if you look at BPC consumption today, India has some of the lowest premiumization rates in the world. So there is massive runway in India for premiumization to occur in the lifestyle categories of beauty and fashion. And Nykaa has the largest assortment of luxury and premium brands available on its platform today. So we are the perfect destination for premium beauty consumption. Also the fact that we're an authentic retailer. If you look at other e-commerce platforms, they're mostly marketplaces, whereas we are an inventory-led business on the beauty side. So this allows us to guarantee to the end consumer that anything they buy on our platform is going to be 100% authentic. And I think that is incredibly important, especially on the premium end of the spectrum. Now, coming to the content and how it's premiumizing, the reality is that beauty and fashion are aspirational categories. And India is an aspirational society. And I think in India, it's, with everything that's happening with the favorable demographics of our consumer base and all of the development that's happening across the country, especially in smaller towns, there is a lot of awareness and growing aspiration for more premium products. And I think Nykaa is perfectly suited to deliver on that promise to its consumers.
I do know that Nykaa is looking at building a house of brands and is looking at more and more of your own brands. But before I come to that and really speak about the plan that you have there, just talk to us about how, as a big trend, homegrown brands are catching up and more people are not shying away from buying, products that have been developed in India. I was very recently speaking with Sugar Cosmetics and the founder Vinita saying, you sell those products on your platform as well, and more of those products are really gaining traction here. As a trend, how do you like to call that out for our viewers?
Sunanda, I think basically what's happened is, firstly, Nykaa is a multi-brand retailer first and foremost.
Yeah.
We work with over 2,000 brand partners and with some of the best global and domestic brands both. And our job is to ensure that we are being good partners and giving them a platform on which to interact with our consumers. So that is our first mission. Now, because we have, Nykaa has brought beauty, I'll speak about beauty first. Nykaa has brought beauty online in India. And what this has done is this has democratized access for beauty consumption throughout the full length and breadth of the country. And what as a result, even now homegrown brands who may not have the distribution of some of the larger consumer good companies have the ability now to interact with their consumers through our platform. And so we believe that Nykaa has played a role in helping for this growth of these direct-to-consumer homegrown brands. And at the same time, we're helping the established brands, some of the global established brands and domestic established brands to also grow their presence and their engagement with our consumers. So we're helping both ends of the spectrum. Now, the reality is, I think what's beautiful about India and the consumers here is they're so aware of what is available. And I think they've become extremely discerning for the better. And as a result, they don't differentiate between global versus domestic brands, and they're looking for high quality. And any brand that can deliver high quality is going to succeed.
Do you want to jump in on that as well, Adwaita?
I echo a lot of what Anchit says. I think for me, it's also, just coming back to the fundamentals, like India just didn't have enough brands. And I feel that acutely on the fashion side in particular, there's just so many white spaces in terms of categories where Indian women and men don't have enough choices. So I think it's a ripe playing field for new brands to emerge. And so my advice is it's a great time to jump into building any kind of consumer brand, whether it's across fashion, beauty, CPG and so forth.